Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Maddie Hengst, and I'm really excited to be speaking with you today. While I give my introductory kind of overview of CYA, if you guys would just kind of fill in the chat, like your major, your year, and if you have any idea what you're looking for in a study abroad, that's super useful for me to just kind of like speak to your needs and interests a little bit more specifically. But before I give you the very formal introduction of myself, I would first like to introduce you to Athens, which is the city that you could be calling home for a semester or summer. So hopefully that gets you a bit excited. Greece is obviously not only home to, some ancient treasure, but also some really beautiful kind of natural climates. So as I mentioned, my name is Maddie. I am a campus rep for CYA, but I'm also an alumni of the program. So I studied abroad in Athens in spring 2018 with CYA, and I graduated college. Oh.
I can hear you.
Huh. Is anyone else having issues with audio? No. Let's see. Ray and Daniel, you may need to exit and re-enter possibly, because I think everyone else is doing okay with sound. Sorry about that. I'm going to keep moving, but I'm also going to drop my contact information in case anything sort of doesn't go to plan. But just because we only have about 25 minutes, I want to make sure that we get through everything we need to and have time for questions at the end.
Great.
So, yeah, so as I said, I'm actually an alumni of CYA and I'm a recent college grad. So I graduated in spring 2019. And all this is to say that, I was in your shoes not too long ago. I'm really happy to speak to CYA from kind of that former student alumni perspective. And I'm just really excited for you guys because study abroad was like the highlight of my college career. And it's just exciting that you guys are looking forward to that. So I like to start by sharing one of my favorite memories of CYA. And it was a bit hard to choose because there are so many, but I am someone who studied classics. I studied classics, anthropology, and public relations in undergrad. And so when I was in Greece, I really was focusing on kind of like an ancient history academic track. Oh, there we go. Okay, great. Let us know if you can hear now, So anyway, while I was in Greece, I actually got to do some traveling with CYA. This was taken in northern Greece during academic field study, which is something I'm going to talk about a little bit later in the presentation. But I actually got to listen to a lecture inside the cave where Alexander the Great was tutored by Aristotle up in northern Greece. So that was just something that was really exciting, really spoke to my little classicist heart. And was really something I'm going to remember for the rest of my life. So I want to open up with just some quick facts to get to know Greece. Greece is home to almost 11 million of the kindest and nicest people you will ever meet. 98% of the Greek population is Greek Orthodox, which means that you will get to participate in some really fun religious celebrations during your study abroad. I was there in the spring, so I got to celebrate Greek Easter with a lot of my Greek neighbors, which was incredibly fun. Over 51% of the Greek population does speak English, and that number is even higher in a large metropolitan city like Athens. And finally, we like to brag that Greece is home to more than 250 days of sunshine a year. So as I mentioned earlier, it really is absolutely beautiful. Now I want to give you a little bit more information about Athens itself and the culture of Athens. So, a lot of people think Greece and they immediately think those little white houses with the blue roofs. That's more of an island thing, which is so fun, and you should definitely visit the islands if you can. But Athens is a large metropolitan city. This is the New York City of Greece. It is bustling, vibrant, exciting, but even though it is a big city, it is still really community oriented. There's a lot of kind of camaraderie and close knit feeling between Greeks, and you will really be welcomed into that as a student, especially as someone that's there to learn about Greece and to learn about their culture. They absolutely love you for that. The Greeks are also a really vocal people, so this is in terms of just speaking loudly and being boisterous and fun and lively, but it's also kind of in terms of their civic participation. So, you may know that Athens is the home of democracy. And because of that, this is a people that's really engaged in their political system and in their government. And so you'll find that there's a lot of protesting, a lot of political activism that's going to be happening in Athens, pretty close to campus, which was something that I thought was really exciting. I'm really interested in kind of like activist movements and social justice movements, and Athens is a great place to be if you're the same. Finally, the Greeks are an incredibly leisurely people, and this is epitomized by the coffee hour that happens once every day, each afternoon. The Greeks like to kind of take some time to relax, to enjoy a frappe or a cafe among friends at a local coffee shop. This is just because the Greeks are really kind of a present-oriented people. They like to live in the moment. They like to enjoy and relax. And I like to say it's a bit of a cliche, but they're very much kind of a stop and smell the roses type of people. And this was a really nice contrast for me compared to the US, where a lot of us are very kind of future-oriented, career-oriented, go, go, go. The Greeks have a really different approach to life, and I think that that's something that's really important to learn and to experience. And now I'm just going to show you a super quick GIF. This is where CYA's campus is actually located. We are in the heart of central Athens. We are right next to the Panathenaic Stadium, which you'll see in just a moment, which is actually the home of the first modern Olympic Games, as well as a site of ancient Olympic Games. And we're also just around the corner from a lot of kind of these really famous archaeological sites like the Parthenon, the Acropolis, the Agora, things like that. So you'll see on the screen, this is the Panathenaic Stadium right here. And then this is CYA's campus. The palm tree is right next to our main entrance. So now I'm going to talk a little bit about our academics. The first thing to know is that we are similar in terms of course structure. We're similar in style to the US in terms of grading and assessment. So basically what that means is that you'll have class 2 or 3 times a week. I think 2 times a week for the majority of our courses. And then you'll have midterms at the midpoint of your year and finals at the end of your year. And that's going to either be like a test or a paper. So basically this is going to be familiar. This is what you do at your American university. You're going to be adapting to a lot of new things during your study abroad, a new culture, a new language, a new group of friends. And so we like to kind of at least keep the structure of classes consistent. So that's something that you don't have to necessarily adapt to. The most important thing to know about our CYA academics is our on-site classes. So CYA has this real philosophy of hands-on learning. We believe in utilizing the landscape of Athens as your classroom and the landscape of Greece as your classroom. So as a result, we try to have as many classes outside of the classroom as possible and actually immersed in Athens and in Greek life. So that could look like visits to museums and archaeological sites, but that could also look like volunteering with local nonprofits, visiting Greek construction projects, visiting Greek parliament. There's really a ton of different variety, but we like to have as many classes outside of the classroom as possible. So as just a quick example of that, this is a picture of my classical Greek architecture course. We met at the Parthenon every single day. So we had one class at the beginning of the semester just to learn the basics of architectural terminology, so we knew what we were talking about. And then afterwards, we were always out and about, which was something that was really great and led to a lot of great camaraderie. We also have a lot of faculty who are at the top of their field. So mentioning my classical architecture course again, my professor was actually one of the architects who was leading the restoration of the Parthenon. And as a result of that, we had this really great unparalleled kind of access. Not only was he an amazing authority on the subject matter, but we also were able to like really go inside the Acropolis, which is something that not many people get to do. We were able to look around, touch, we went underneath the Temple of Athena Nike. Just a lot of really kind of hands-on, amazing learning in that way. And all of our faculty is really great, really well respected around Greece. That's something that CYA really is proud that we offer. The last thing you should know about our academics is also that we really do work hard to support our students. So this is not just an academic philosophy, this is in general. We have a really hands-on staff that wants to make sure you're having the best possible experience in Greece. But just in terms of academics, what that looks like is that, you know, we have advisors who are going to make sure that you're in all of the classes that you need for credits, whether those are major minor credits or general education credits. And we also have a newer language lab offering. This is an opportunity for students who are taking modern Greek language to actually be tutored by local Athenian university students. So this is a great way to meet Greek college students your own age. And I just wanted to show this slide really quickly to give a glance at sort of the courses that we offer. I'm still waiting to see if anybody's going to drop their major in the chat or their area of study. But as you can see, you know, yes, we are a great program for classics and for ancient history, but we're so much more than that as well. We have really strong offerings in political science, international relations. We have offerings in psychology and environmental studies. So the opportunities are pretty endless. We also are unique in offering some extracurricular activities. So this is probably something that you're not thinking about in terms of your study abroad. I certainly was not thinking about, you know, clubs and things like that during my semester abroad. But these ended up being really great experiences that augmented my semester and really helped me like meet friends outside of my coursework. So first of all, there's 2 student conferences that CYA students can participate in. The first is an academic conference hosted by CYA, which is an opportunity for students who are working on some kind of independent research project to share out those findings. And we also do send students with an interest in like international finance and international business to the Delphi Economic Forum, which is an international European Union conference, which is really a great networking opportunity. We've had some students come out of that with we've had summer internship offers come out of that conference, as well as just, you know, some powerful networking connections. We also offer workshops and seminars. This was something that I participated in when I was a student. I took a marble carving workshop that met once a week. And again, that was something that was really fun and a great way for me to make some friends outside of the classroom. I like to talk about it like a paint and sip, if you guys have ever experienced that, except for we were carving marble instead of painting. So it was a lot of fun. It was really kind of just casual. None of us were Michelangelos or anything like that, but we had a great time doing it. Finally, this is something that's really kind of cool about CYA. There are opportunities to volunteer and intern. You can see a couple examples are listed on the slide, such as teaching English as a second language, or volunteering with our media lab if you're someone that's interested in communication and marketing. However, we have a staff, again, that I mentioned, they're so great. They're really well connected in Athens, so they want to help students kind of have whatever volunteer or interning experience it is that they're looking for. So in the past, you know, we've had students with computer science backgrounds who wanted to do something relevant to that academic skill, and they were able to actually lead a coding boot camp for refugee children. We've had students with environmental studies background and marine biology backgrounds get connected with a local NGO that works with sea turtles in the Aegean. So we really want to emphasize that if you are interested in volunteering or interning, that's something you can do. And you can kind of come to Nadia, she's our student affairs director, with an idea. You don't have to do extensive research or anything like that. You can just say, hey, this is kind of what I'm interested in. Do you have any NGOs or something that's coming to mind? And she will help you figure that out. So that's something that's really great. And I encourage you to take advantage of that if you do choose to study abroad through CYA. So this is a quick photo from our student conference. And then these are 2 CYA students who participated in a beach cleanup. So we do have those opportunities for ongoing. and regular service commitments, we also have kind of single day, service day type community service activities. So now to talk about academic field study, this is what I mentioned earlier, but part of utilizing the landscape of Greece as your classroom is, of course, getting outside of Athens. So there are 3 trips each semester where CYA students are taking a break from their normally scheduled kind of coursework to travel throughout Greece with CYA faculty and follow itinerary that's based on your interests. So again, I was interested in classics, so most of my destinations were classics oriented, but you'll be going to all the same locations. This will be a big thing with the, you'll be going to all the same cities and things like that with your CYA cohort, but just what you do within those cities is different based on your interests. So there's an orientation trip in Delphi at the beginning of both semesters. Some of you may have heard of the Oracle of Delphi. She's this prophetess. She was said to see the future. So we went to kind of her temple and her seat of power at the very beginning of the semester. And that was just a great way to kick things off. You can see from this photo that we were surrounded by kind of the rich ancient history, as well as just like the beautiful mountains, the beautiful landscape. And it made me really excited to get started on my semester. Also, I'm just taking a minute to look at your majors. Philosophy and classics. Okay, awesome. Yes, we're kind of a good fit, I would say. Communication sciences and distortion major. Okay, nice. I don't even know exactly what that is, but I'm intrigued. Maybe we could talk a little more about it at the end. So we also offer a couple optional trips. These are different from the field study trips. The field study trips all CYA students go on. It's part of your curriculum. It's part of your coursework. These are trips that take place over the 3-day weekends. Right now, because of COVID, we are only doing trips within Greece, optional trips within Greece. However, during a normal non-COVID semester, I know you guys are probably looking a bit into the future, so fingers crossed that everything will be back to normal for you, but those would be throughout Greece or international. So I actually did an optional trip to Crete when I was there. My roommate did one in Barcelona. These are just great trips to travel with your CYA peers and kind of have everything a bit like laid out for you. If you're not like a big planner, you don't want to deal with the hassle of like booking your trains, booking your flights, finding a hotel. This is a really great option to just kind of like sign up, and then everything is a bit like planned for you. And then you have like a CYA person being your personal tour guide. They're really fun, but you also do have a lot of freedom to go kind of explore on your own. Don't think that you'll be being babysat or anything like that. And just to mention, you know, I said it, but I want to make sure that it's called out. Our CYA classes do only run from Mondays through Thursdays. We know that you're studying abroad. We know that you want to travel. That's a big part of your study abroad experience. So we do like to leave those 3-day weekends so that students have time to get in and out of Greece if they're interested in international travel, or just explore within Greece and like have that freedom and flexibility to do that. We also offer 3 weeks of winter programming each January. So these are 2 short-term courses that can be taken in addition to the spring semester typically. This is something that spring semester students will do just so that they can come 3 weeks early and kind of get settled into Athens at the beginning of January as opposed to the end. This is honestly my biggest kind of regret about my study abroad, is that I didn't know about these programs. But I think that you'll find no matter where you go, at the end of your program, you'll be wishing you had more time. You'll be wishing that you were there for longer. So this is a great way to kind of just extend out your semester a little bit. Plus the students that did this, like I said, they kind of had a sense of Athens, like they had this insider info before the rest of us even got there, you know. They had a bit of a cool kid thing going on because they had already been there for 3 weeks and they were all settled in while we were confused and getting oriented and things like that. I want to just briefly mention that we do have some summer course offerings as well. Much like our, you know, consistent with our academic philosophy, these are really experience-based and they're travel intensive. So again, we want you outside, we want you doing that hands-on learning. And because it is a summer course where you're taking one course all day for 4 weeks, as opposed to taking, you know, a couple different classes throughout the semester. Because you're taking that one course all day, there is a lot of travel built into these courses. So typically they visit at least one island, as well as a mainland Greece destination. And you can look on our website. I'm going to drop in the link to our summer courses. But these are not just classics courses. There's a ton of different variety. I think we're offering at least 12 courses this summer. And they like subjects that they touch include like archaeology, anthropology, travel writing is one of our very popular courses, economics, religion, some environmental sustainability. There's a lot of different stuff going on. So I've just dropped the link into the chat. So really quickly before we open up for Q&A, I'm going to run through some more logistical information. So CYA students live in apartments that do come furnished with a bed, desk, and wardrobe. So you don't need to worry about any kind of, you don't need to worry about finding an apartment or furnishing it. And you live with CYA roommates, so roommates who are other students. And you will typically live in either a single or a double room. But while your roommates are CYA students, we put you in apartment buildings that are with local Greek people. So it's not like a big dorm filled with all the American students. There's like 1 or 2 apartments of CYA students interspersed with Greek people. So this is just another way that CYA works to make sure that you're having a culturally immersive experience and you're actually getting to meet real Greeks. So and all of the campus, all of the housing and the CYA campus is in the Pengradi neighborhood, which is a really kind of vibrant, bustling, just like really fun, trendy, young neighborhood. Like I like to say it's kind of like a hipster neighborhood. It's right next to like the real touristy area. So you're close to all the sites, all the museums that you need to be, but you're really living like a local in this very kind of like up and coming neighborhood. So that was something that's really fun. There's lots of great coffee shops, restaurants, like tons of things to do, art galleries, just like all within a 5-minute walk. And finally, so all of these apartments are within a 2 to 10 minute walk from the academic center and from each other. So you know, you're bound to have friends that live in a different apartment building. They're going to be close. They're going to be less than 10 minutes away. And it's pretty fun to actually, you know, you'll do dinner at someone's apartment one night. You'll do drinks at someone else's apartment the next night. It's actually a really fun way to kind of explore and see parts of the city. So some quick health and safety information. I'm going to go through this really quickly because I want to make sure that we have time for questions. But we have, Greece is a country with a low crime rate. Violent crime is really rare, not really something you have to worry about. I felt very safe. Doctors and pharmacists are English speaking and are able to provide at-home care. And finally, CYA does have health insurance for its semester students. Again, not going to get really nitty gritty about this, but just know that you have the coverage that you need for any sort of medical emergency or ongoing medical care that you may need to receive while in Greece. So don't even worry about that. You are perfectly covered. And then in terms of COVID, so obviously that's something that's on everyone's mind. As I mentioned, I really hope that you guys do not have to deal with COVID by the time that you are studying abroad. However, CYA has done a good job of responding to COVID, and Greece as a country has done a really good job of containing the virus. So I'm happy to speak more about that, but I'm going to drop we have some pretty comprehensive information on our website about our COVID-19 response. So I'm going to drop that in the chat so that we don't have to spend a ton of time talking about that. Okay, so that's pretty much the end of my presentation. These are our socials. We would love to stay in touch with you. I definitely recommend checking out our Instagram. That's where you can see what the fall 2020 cohort is actually like up to right now, because we do have students in Greece at the moment. Our blog is also a great place to check in to see CYA student perspectives. So with that, I'm going to open it up for questions, but thank you all so much and happy to answer any questions.
Can I just unmute myself and ask a question real quick?
Sure.
Okay. Do some classes require you to know modern Greek, or like, for example, right now I'm learning Attic Greek, but not all of that can be applied to modern Greek. So is it required for those that come to learn it?
Nope. There's no language requirement. We do offer like introductory modern Greek for students who are interested. And some schools do require that you take modern Greek. So my school required that I took modern Greek, but CYA as a program does not require any modern Greek, nor are there any language requirements for any of the courses.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Of course.
So Maddie, you have students, international students studying at CYA currently?
Yes. So we have a cohort of 9 students in Greece right now. It is much smaller than our typical class. Our typical class is close to 150 students.
Wow.
That really the only reason we have 10 students is just because like we could have taken more. It was just that nobody's really thinking about study abroad right now. But we are aiming for 80 students this coming spring. So just again, yeah, I want to reiterate that both Greece as a country has done a great job of containing COVID, and because CYA's academic philosophy already emphasized being like outside as much as possible, it wasn't too hard to transition to distanced learning because so much of our learning was already out and about. So yeah.
Great. Are there any other questions? Right. Well, sign me up. I'm ready to go.
Yay.
That sounds
Yeah, I'm sorry. I know
wonderful.
that was a lot of information in a very short amount of time, but
No, it was great, and you've provided some great information so students can reach out to you as well. I've already followed you on Instagram. I just did that. So, and I do want to mention to students that applications for the 21-22 year are opening here at Augustana November 1st. And the process for semester programs like this is that you would apply to Augustana first and be accepted, and then we would nominate you to CYA, and you would go through the application process there. So it is something that you want to plan ahead for. Augie Choice does apply for juniors and seniors, and so that's $2,000 that can help with the cost, and Augustana tuition and room and board applies, so any financial aid you're receiving here at Augustana will be applied. So it would be equivalent of paying to live on campus and go to school here for the charges there. And finally, if students have questions as you're navigating through the study abroad path, and if you have questions, you want to talk with Pedro or I in IOP, you can make appointments through Handshake at any time, and we're meeting with students virtually all the time. So
thanks so much. So I also dropped one of our emails in the chat. You can reach out to that with any kind of questions. I actually have to hop off. I have another event right at 5.
Awesome.
Please feel free to reach out with any questions.